at the Stellar Space. I'm Adrienne Gordon. I'm the president and CEO of Price Space, and we are going to be offering weekly community-only webinars, all things pricing and value conversation. This particular very first one we're going to share outside of the community. After that, you will have to become a member to actually join the community and participate in these. They're going to be done every Monday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. We feel like it's a great way to kick off your week and get those juices flowing. And we're going to try to keep topics very relevant to the things that you guys are facing every day. So today we wanted to talk about AI and how AI actually probably knows more about your value proposition than you do. We're going to take you through an exercise that's going to show you how you can leverage it with some very simple prompts, and hopefully you get something out of it today. This is, again, these are all going to be free as part of the just joining our free community. So hopefully you get some value out of this. So the first thing, the reason why we're talking about AI and how it looks at your value proposition is because you cannot do value-based pricing unless you understand your own value proposition. The really cool thing about AI, though, is there's literally a treasure trove of information out there that you can extract from AI to help you understand your value proposition better. So today we're going to actually do a case study. I just chose a random company out of the blue. So we're going to do a case study for a coffee wholesaler to understand the value proposition of that coffee bean wholesaler. And before we do this, we're going to go ahead and remind you of two things. So we see a lot of clients talk about their features and their benefits and their advantages, but it's really important that you think through. Customers do not buy features and benefits; they buy consequences. And so when we talk to our chatbot, we want to know what those consequences are. And the other thing that's really important is when we have a conversation, those consequences in B2C, that's typically emotion, human emotion. When we talk about consequences in B2B, it's also emotion, right? Buyers tend to have emotion too when they make decisions, and it's also financial impacts. So we're going to go through the exercise and we're going to test consequences from an emotion standpoint as well as a financial impact standpoint. All right, so to start, you can do this with any chatbot, whatever your preferred one is. We're going to use Gemini today. Same prompts will work for any of them. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go into Gemini in a second here. Okay. And so obviously you're going to have your prompt section here, and we're just going to ask Gemini to walk through this simple exercise with it. And we're going to start by kind of introducing ourselves. So, hello, I'd like you to support me today as a key strategist on my team. I own a coffee bean wholesaler company that imports rare coffee beans in a sustainable way. Okay, so I'm just introducing myself and I'm assigning the chatbot a task. Now it's going to perceive, what do I mean by key strategist? So it's going to come back and say, oh, yes, I can be your key strategist. I can do some market analysis. I can give you sourcing strategies. It's giving me a lot of great feedback. We can work together on pricing, sustainability initiatives, a whole bunch of things that the chatbot's ready to do. So we're going to get a little bit more refined now and say, I am looking to better understand my value proposition. Okay. So this is the specific task of the day. Can we work together to develop a profile of my ideal customer? And this is really important because chatbots basically have been trained to relate to humans. And so what we need to do is we need to get the chatbot to start thinking through, okay, I need to build your ideal customer as a human, right? So it's going to start by saying, okay, well, there's some things that we need to understand about what you do and the demographics of what your ideal customer is. So it's asking some questions, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to give it a little bit of information, just a little bit. So we want it to create a character. This is the human that's going to build a relationship with. They are a buyer of coffee beans for a high-end or specialty grocery chain, right? So this is just an overview of who you're going to be selling to. This is where we want the chatbot really to build a stronger relationship, because then it's going to be pulling from basically text strings out in the internet that it's heard from that particular person. So we like to get a little bit closer to defining this individual. So what are they going to look like? Well, they're probably educated and they're experienced in buying for some years. An experienced buyer could maybe say how many years they've been working, or whatever specifics that you know about them. I like to put a little bit of who I want to work with. They approach business in a fair way. They're not going to be trying to do something shady or anything like that. They're probably kind and they're fun. And specifically, they value whatever you do that makes you you. So they value sustainability and are willing to invest in it. Okay. So that is your very specific part of your business that they value. Okay. Whatever you can fill in whatever that is. So now the chatbot's actually going to create a character, an avatar that represents all of your key target customers, the ones that really like you, that you like to work with, right? So now we've got this character created, Eleanor. So Eleanor is experienced, educated, fairness first. They're kind of approachable, they're fun loving, and they are a sustainable champion. Okay. There's a little bit more details. They have a master's degree, they speak Spanish and English, and they love new experiences. So now we want to deepen this relationship with your customer. So we're going to ask the bot, how does Eleanor, or Ellie, looks like, spend her day? So what does she do every day? And the reason why we're doing this is we're getting the chatbot trained very specifically on who looks like your ideal customer. So it's really going into details here. And once it gets a better relationship, you can keep going. You can ask, what kind of books does Ellie read? You can ask what movies they go to, do like sporting events, whatever questions might refine this relationship. Once that relationship exists between the chatbot and your target customer, now we're going to ask it about what bothers her about her experiences in buying coffee beans. Okay. So this is where we're building, what does she not want in her life, in her business? She doesn't like greenwashing. So she doesn't like companies that lie about how sustainable they are. She doesn't like quality issues, price fluctuations, lack of transparency. And she doesn't like that she's faced with higher competition. Okay, so that's interesting. What does she want? So, what does Ellie desire in her activities around purchasing coffee beans? This is where we're going to get a little tighter. Okay. She has some things that she really likes. She wants exceptional beans. She wants consistency. She wants transparency through the supply chain. She wants to make a positive impact. She wants relationships that are based on respect. And she wants to continue expanding her knowledge. So this is where it gets really cool. So now you have an offering to fit Ellie's needs. You know what she doesn't want. You know what she wants. So we're going to ask the chatbot, can you bridge Ellie's frustrations to her desires using our offering? And do it in a table. I want it easy to read and concise. Do so in a table that has a column of away from one, a column by our offer, and a column towards. Okay. So this is going to make it very succinct, build it in a table, and it's going to put your offer right in the middle. And this is where it gets crazy. So we're going to walk away from greenwashing because that's not what she wants. She really wants transparency through the supply chain. And so your offering has a transparent, traceable system. Now, Your offering might not have that. That's what's really cool about this. So if it does have it, now you know that you have a value proposition that's really key and you can focus on it. If you don't have it, you're basically getting some coaching right now on what she cares about and what you need to add to your value proposition. Okay. So as we work through the value proposition, if you're not doing it, you probably want to start considering doing it. All right. So I'm going to give the chatbot a little bit of praise. That was excellent. So can you summarize the above now in a succinct value proposition? And it's going to go ahead and give the language around that. And right now, we've only talked about emotion. So the succinct value proposition for Ellie from an emotion standpoint is empower your passion for exceptional, ethically sourced coffee from your brand. We bridge the gap between greenwashing and true transparency, connect you with rare bean sources, and ensure consistent quality, all fostering a positive impact and financial stability. Partner with us and elevate your experience. So that gives you a value proposition to talk to her emotions for human size. Now, because it's a B2B business, right? This is a B2B transaction. We want to go ahead and get the chatbot to go a little further. So this will be a business to business transaction. Can you, oops, comma, can you elaborate on the economic impact that Ellie will enjoy by working with our company? All right. Because in B2B, decisions have to be made based on money. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to think through what is the offering and the value proposition we just highlighted. What does it do from an economic standpoint? This is the beginning of value-based pricing, right? So it's going to improve costs, it reduces risks, it enhances brand value, it streamlines the operation, data decision driven making. And so when we do this, then in value-based pricing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually dive into quantifying these, and that's going to be a future discussion that we have. We're not going to deal with that today, but we're going to just ask. Part of this exercise of going from the economic impacts to a value-based price is we need to understand what research is ahead. So we're going to go ahead and ask, what do we need to know to be able to defend all of this value? So if we wanted to quantify the financial impact of these B2B benefits, how could we do that? This is the final question we're going to go through today, but it's going to give us an assignment. These are the things that you need to go understand before you can do value-based pricing. So it looks at cost savings. It tells you have to analyze your history, estimate potential savings through contracts futures. And then you can present potential savings based on different volatility metrics. So maybe look for some indices, start looking at reduced risk. So maybe do some research on how often are there violations of sustainability promises. Increased revenue. We love this when we look at value-based pricing because increased revenue has the biggest impact on your customers. They're willing to share a lot of money for that. So if you can prove that you can actually influence your customers to have price premiums, and et cetera. So I think this gives you an idea of how this works. And yeah, so super, super cool. Very, very quick exercise. And hopefully you learned a lot. So that did not take long at all. And now we know a lot about how companies think about sustainable coffee beans. So look forward to next week. And again, this particular video will be shared outside of our community after all future videos are available to community members only. So take care.